Today, we're going to talk about the circle of fifths, first, second, and third species counterpoint, the song Rhythm of Life from Sweet Charity, and Talk to Daddy from Schmigadoon. Let's get started with some context. Sweet Charity is a musical from 1966 with music written by Cy Coleman. Charity is looking for love and a new outlook on life. At the start of Act 2, she ends up at the Rhythm of Life Church, led by the charismatic and free-spirited guru named Daddy Brubeck, who sings the song Rhythm of Life and preaches a message of breaking free from societal constraints and embracing a more liberated and carefree way of life. It's an incredibly and exciting, invigorating ensemble song which actually serves no strong purpose to the story or character development. I'm guessing the song serves to provide a lively ensemble energetic song sandwiched between two slower solo ballads. It also is beneficial that it allows Act 2 to start off with a bang. Though yes, in a stretch, symbolically you can make a connection between the message of the song and the consistencies of the ups and downs of Charity's life. The purpose of the song is besides the point, as we will just look at the musical concepts within it. Before we do that though, Schmigadoon is a recent TV show in which Melissa and Josh get trapped in a musical. In season 1, the songs and pastiches play homage to the musicals of the 40s and 50s. In season 2, they find themselves stuck in musicals that pay homage to the musicals of the 60s and 70s. In episode 4, they attempt to convince Jenny to reunite with her father, so they sing Talk to Daddy, which is a song that directly parodies Rhythm of Life. The song Rhythm of Life is musically written very well, and Talk to Daddy, music by Cinco Paul, captures those elements effectively. The rest of the video will look at these musical concepts. Rhythm of Life starts with this melody in D minor,
Daddy started out in San Francisco,
and then it repeats again, but in the relative major of F major.
Suddenly a voice said, "Go for it, Daddy, spread the picture on a wide screen."
The term relative major or minor refers to how these minor major keys are more inherently linked. What they have in common is a key signature, aka the notes in the scale. Tonally, they are very connected. Oftentimes, especially in Bach and non-secular music, you might have deceptive cadences. It seems like the chord will resolve back to the original key, but it will deceptively resolve into the relative minor. This connection to the church and Bach we will come back to later. In the song, the shift from D minor to the relative major of F major not only musically reflects a change in mood, but also symbolizes a shift in perspective from darkness to light. And sure enough, in the lyrics, Daddy Brubeck starts off his tale of before he was a religious leader to the epiphany of spirituality. The message of the song captures this feeling of transformation and enlightenment. Anyways, in the beginning of Talk to Daddy, the same thing happens, starting in a minor key and then quick shift to the relative major.
Here's a little ditty by Pretty Penny. Left home for the city, she was one of many. Got letters by the sack from her lonely father. But did she write him back? No, she didn't bother. Got one.
The song also has a message of misfortune, but seeks to inspire with an uplifting and positive solution. Next in the song is the chorus, which also follows a sort of quicker turnaround from C minor to a relative major structure, before it does a quick circle of fifths back to C minor.
So, talk to Daddy, talk to Daddy. He will rock you when you are sad. He isn't ideal, but you need to heal. So, talk to Daddy, talk to Daddy.
The circle of fifths, I talked about this in a previous video, but before we talk about it more, let's jump back into the Rhythm of Life and see what comes next. The next brief section introduces Counterpoint, sung by the ensemble, a separate line that complements the main melodic line.
It's the road, Daddy, leave your common law wife. Spread the religion of the rhythm of life.
The next section goes into a pretty extensive circle of fifths as well. In this circle of fifths, we go from F to B flat to E flat to A flat to D flat to G to C, then back to F, so we can repeat that again. You'll notice that we jump from D flat to G and not G flat because, yeah, G and G flat are close enough, but also because we need to jump ahead back to F where our tonality lives.
To feel the rhythm of life,
To feel the powerful beat, to feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet.
The circle of fifths work well naturally because chords continually want to resolve in that direction. The circle of fifths is often associated with Bach and other composers of usually non-secular music of this same time. Talk to Daddy also goes into the circle of fifths. Kinda.
Odds are you are gonna outlive him, so you really ought to forgive him. There's a chance that he's homicidal, but the bond between you is vital.
You you'll notice that it sometimes skips one, though the missing chord can be implied. I can add the missing chord back in. It'll still make sense too. The circle of fifths, like in the previous song, does get back to the original G tonality, though this one goes a bit further and lands on the C minor chord, which is actually the home key of this section anyways. And it does another sort of circle of fifths as it prepares to return us back to the C minor chord key. But however, something completely unexpected happens as it jumps to a completely unrelated key and does the exact same chord progressions.
Bond between you is vital. Odds are you are gonna outlive him, so you really ought to forgive him. There's a chance that he's homicidal, but the bond between you is vital.
Let's see what happens next back in Rhythm of Life. We go back into the melody of the first verse from the minor to the relative major. We then have this running vocal line.
Daddy was a new sensation, got himself a congregation, built up quite an operation down below.
It is a vocal line that you typically see as a counterpoint of Bach. And sure enough, we have a more prominent counterpoint line arrive.
Sensation, got himself a congregation, quite an operation down below.
What's the connection between Bach and the song anyways? The religious service unfolds in the song, and thus the score is intricately crafted to mirror this sacred atmosphere. Given Bach's extensive repertoire in church music, the musical concepts and harmonies are deliberately intertwined together, creating a seamless harmony between the thematic elements of the song and the message of the song.
Fly to Daddy, take a dive and swim to Daddy, take a dive and swim to Daddy.
Next in the song, as we talked about relative minor major, now we have a transition to the parallel major. While previously we were in D minor, we are now in D major. We continue repeating this musical phrase with more voices, harmonies, and intensity until we reach this amazing section of the song. We have 4 voices singing together, but really only 3 separate parts I would consider in counterpoint because these 2 middle parts are the same but in harmony. What we have here is second and third species counterpoint. For such complicated sounding names, the idea and concept is easy, though there are complicated rules I will not go into. Here's a hypothetical melody line. Here's first species counterpoint. The rhythm is identical. Second species counterpoint, for every 1 note of the melody, there are 2 notes occurring. Third species, for every 1 note, there are 4 notes down there. Second and third combined looks like this. You will see that in this section that there exists moments of second and third species counterpoint. Having this counterpoint also sounds nice as the variety of rhythms make all the parts more distinct without being muddled. In Talk to Daddy, we have a very similar thing happening, which uses up to second and third species counterpoint. Talk to Daddy then also goes into a dance break that parodies the Rich Man's Fug, also from Sweet Charity, before returning back to the chorus once more.
Talk to Daddy, talk to Daddy. He will rock you when you are sad. He may be insane, but you...
And in Rhythm of Life, it goes into a brilliant chorus before ending. Anyways, the Rhythm of Life uses a lot of great musical concepts that really capture the essence and atmosphere of the song. Shout out to Cy Coleman for composing a song that clearly was thoroughly thought through and shows talented writing. And potentially a bigger shout out to Cinco Paul for writing such an effective parody. Talk to Daddy also uses the same musical concepts. A huge feat for Cinco Paul, who although is a trained pianist and songwriter, made his career primarily in screenwriting such movies as Despicable Me, The Secret Life of Pets, The Lorax, and Horton Hears a Who. In the interviews with Cinco Paul, it is clear that he's very thoughtful in his writing, in which he balances paying tribute to these songs and composers while being able to stand on its own. It's an insanely difficult skill to do, and he has all my respect. In conclusion, exploring the musical intricacies of Rhythm of Life from Sweet Charity and its parody Talk to Daddy from Schmigadoon reveals a fascinating interplay of musical concepts that transcend time and genres. The journey of musical fifths shifts between relative major and minor, and the incorporation of counterpoint in both songs showcases the deliberate craftsmanship of the composers Cy Coleman and Cinco Paul. The seamless integration of these elements not only enhances the auditory experience, but also contributes to the depths of the songs. Moreover, the connection to Bach and the deliberate use of non-secular musical techniques in Rhythm of Life underscore its thematic significance within the context of the storyline. As we unravel these musical layers, we gain a deeper appreciation for the thoughtfulness and the skill that goes into creating well-written works in the musical theater genre. Thank you, and please subscribe.